Mountain bikers who sit at a desk more than 3 hours a day, and you probably have a regular job, or you ride in the car more than a couple hours a day, this video is for you if you want to jump, drop, corner, do any of the cool stuff on a mountain bike like this. This is for you. What we're going to talk about today is 3 reasons why neglecting your mobility can lead to the heartbreaking reality that you're never going to hit your mountain biking goals, and it only gets worse the older you get. And we all know that, if you don't use it, you lose it, and it's the rider, it's not the bike. So if everything I just said right there resonates with you, we're on a mission to help 10,000 riders shred with confidence. My name is David Davidson. I'm the co-founder of Mountain Bike Academy. I'm making this video for you because, one, there's millions of mountain bikers in the world, and flat out, they just, it's hard for them to hit their goals on the bike because mountain biking is harder than we are good at it. And what I'm going to break down for you today, the first one is the reason why you're struggling to hit your goals on the bike. And the first one is very, very simple. Let me see if I can get rid of this guy. Woohoo, Inception. The very first one is that when you practice, most people start with the technical skill, okay? So the technical skill would be something like riding a wall ride, or it would be pumping. And the thing is, if you go out and you try to pump, or you try to ride a wall ride, or you try to do a bunny hop, or you try to ride off a steep roller, or you go in corner, everyone tells you what to do with your body. You got to put your body position here, do this with your elbows, do this with your hands. And it's not that they're wrong, it's just that your body doesn't work the way that it used to. And if your body doesn't work the way that it used to, what we end up doing is we practice using a very limited range of motion or a limited use of the muscles. So listen to me carefully, because this is the thing that will kill your progress, for years to come if you do not fix this. So, and again, I don't have like a fancy screen to show you, but if you just listen to me, what I'm going to be talking about is mobility. Okay, so what is mobility? Mobility is our ability to influence our body through the entire range of motion. So when we go out and we corner and we have limited hip mobility, which most people do if you sit at a desk, what happens is we try to do this skill, and even if you do a really good attempt, you can actually copy the instructor. You can look at this picture right here, and whether you consider me an instructor or not, you can copy this picture with your body position and your skeleton, and you can do that using the wrong muscles. And the symptom of this is you feel like the bike is trying to stand up on you. You feel like no matter what, you have to grab brakes in the corner. You feel like, you just can't get the bike to turn around, and you end up with your weight all over the place and your body feels tight. And ultimately, it just leads you to a place where you're more frustrated than ever because you just spent thousands of dollars on a mountain bike and you can't get it to ride the way that you want it to. And even worse, I've seen some riders who are like, yeah, I used to be good, but now I'm not anymore. And the real root issue here is a large part because of mobility. And if you think about mobility, again, like I said, what is it? It's your ability to influence each and every joint throughout its entire range of motion. So how do you fix this? Well, first of all, what you have to do is you have to not just go do stretching, okay? Static stretching doesn't help your mobility. What we have to deal with here is something called proprioception. Proprioception is your body knowing where it is in space at all times and using the correct muscle to make adjustments. So if you're feeling these things on the mountain bike, and again, it could be any of these skills. I just pulled up a bunch and we're just hammering it, right? So if you're feeling these skills, you have to build and work on this. And the problem is with modern people, and it's men, mainly because 98% of you are the ones that watch my channel, what you're going to do is you're going to go hit the gym like you did in high school. Or you're going to go running, or you're going to do some yoga, or you're going to go do some CrossFit. You're going to do what's been given to you, or you're just going to go ride your bike. These are the approaches that people take, and that's kind of the old way of going about this. And a better way to go about this is absolutely to work directly on your mobility in a short amount of time and doing it daily. And so one thing I do, I talk about this all the time on the channel, is a horse stance hold. I'm actually doing it wrong here. Your feet are supposed to both be pointed parallel forward. What this exercise does is it helps you stay strong in a position that directly helps you with cornering, right? So here's the thing I'll tell you. If you can't do this right here off the bike, then you will not be able to corner on your bike. period. I've coached too many people, and I've seen a huge correlation between inability to do a horse stance hold. How do I know this? Every single person that we ran through our flagship program, the Athlete Accelerator, had to take an intake form, and they would send us a video of themselves doing or attempting to do this move. 100% of the riders who could corner well were able to do this, and anyone who struggled with cornering, they also could not do a horse stance hold, period. There were no exceptions. So we've tested this. Is it the most scientific thing in the world? Probably not. We did not work with 10,000 riders and do an independent double-blind study because you want to keep your eyes open when you're mountain biking. We don't want to be double-blind. Kidding. So the thing is, your mobility, again, it hinges, no pun intended, on your ability to control your muscles throughout your entire range of motion. And if you sit at a desk more than 3 hours a day, you're programming your body not to use those ranges of motion. So that's why I strongly encourage anyone watching this channel not just to focus on your mobility, to bring your awareness to it, but be someone who is mobile every single day. Now, the second thing that happens, this was the first one. The first thing that happens is, again, you lose form faster than other riders. Actually, I talked about this one more. So what you're going to end up doing, though, is if you have poor mobility, what's going to happen is when you do metabolically intensive moves such as bunny hops, when you are, this is one of our riders, Mike from Arkansas. When you are doing a giant drop like this one, in the middle of a race course, you're handling these G-outs. When you do these moves, they're metabolically intensive. In other words, it drains your body of energy, okay? And so when you drain your body of energy, I'm getting my screen back here so I can see you guys. When you drain your body of energy and you have poor mobility, what happens is the big muscles are forced to lock because your stabilizer muscles, your small muscles, they are doing either nothing or they're doing the wrong job. When your big muscles lock and they hold, you end up spending more energy than you would if you were relaxed. So if you guys know what it's like to ride relaxed, just take a look at Greg Menard. The guy literally doesn't even look like he's going fast, but what he is he's very efficient. His small muscles are all doing their job, which leaves his stability muscles to do their job so that his big muscles can take the big hits and do the big movements on the bike. So the problem is, it's not that you're a bad mountain biker. The problem is that you're stuck using the type of muscles that should be used for strength, for stability. You're using muscles that are supposed to be used for stability, for balance. You're trying to use the wrong muscles for the right things. And look, I'm not here to pick on any single person because this used to be me. I absolutely was the CrossFit injury guy because I played high school football. And when you play high school football in 2002 and 2003 and 2004, you just hit the gym hard because you're 160 pounds and you're embarrassed because you're 6'3" and you look like a twig and you also get manhandled. I remember the very first day of football practice. I'm not going to say last names I feel like that's weird to say last names, but mad respect to this guy. But Drew, who was, I think, a senior at the time, we were supposed to just like block each other. Oh, Drew blocked me. I ran at Drew, Drew ran at me, and Drew just kept going. He picked me up by the shoulder pads, picked me up in the air, ran about 10 yards. When he was done carrying me, he just slammed me down on my back, and I was just like, ugh! Yeah. So I was like, I got to gain some weight. And I did some bench press. I did some curls. I did pull-ups. I did squats. I did deadlifts. I did power cleans. I did everything. And every single day, I was just on the verge of hurting myself by pushing so hard to the point where I actually ended up hurting myself. And I felt it for the next 20, 30 years. So I know what it's like to be raw strength first, mobility last. And I paid that price when I was mountain biking. I got into mountain biking at 20 years old. So look, what you need to do is you need to think about where you are in that phase of life. If you're 18, 20 years old, it's fine. Hit the weights. You'll be fine. But if you're 40, if you're 50, if you're 60 years old, what you need to do is you need to be able to fully express your range of motion again, like you did when you were younger. And in order to do that, you need to move every day, right? So really important stuff. Now, the third and final thing that happens when we get a little bit older is we get this thing called mortgage brain, and we get this compounding effect. So what happens is we use the body to copy the body position. Our skeleton position is correct. We're using the wrong muscles. And then we compound that with, okay, now since we're using the wrong muscles, we get tired faster. And we're getting frustrated because, oh my gosh, this isn't working the way that I wanted to. And then ultimately, it just ends up in a place where you're nowhere near as good as you could be. And the mistake that I see so many riders make, and I just absolutely hate this, is they blame it either on the bike or their lack of practice. They blame it on the bike or their lack of practice. Neither one of these are really the solution. And frankly, you can get away with a little bit of help from getting a nicer bike. I admit it. The bikes are awesome. And if you put like a Formula One machine under someone who's decent at mountain biking, it's going to feel different. But the root issue here is that it deeply affects your confidence. And here's the thing I wanted to talk about. I talked about this on the last episode. When I was 20, I got the news, or I didn't get the news. When I was 16, I got the news that my dad had cancer. And when I was 20, he was gone. And he never got around to doing some of the things that were important to him. And so that's why I'm sharing this stuff with you guys today, because if you want to do awesome stuff like cornering and drops and bunny hops and rolling down intense things, again, no pun intended there, rolling down intense drops that feel good to you, then you must realize that every day that goes by, every single day that goes by is an opportunity to say no to dying by moving, or an opportunity to say, I'm one step closer to wherever I'm going to go. I don't know how long I've got. I don't know how long you've got, but I do know one thing, is that every single day is an opportunity to say no to dying. Dying is where you stop moving. Moving is saying no to the dying process and saying yes to life and yes to joy. Now, here's the thing. If you're listening to this, I get hundreds of thousands of views on my channel, and they go up over time. So if you're watching this, then it's highly likely that we don't work together. That's okay. There's like hundreds of thousands of people. There's going to be millions soon that see this content and go, wow, that's important. I should do something about it. If that's you, do something about it. How could you move today? Could you go play with your kids outside? Could you get off your butt and go just do something outside? I don't care if you're on a treadmill. Just do something. Start moving. And for those of you that are like, this resonates with me deeply, I'm not going to stop until I do everything that I can to increase my mobility, great. You're one of us. I'm joking around. I'm kind of calling it the Gravity Guardians right now. I don't know if that's the best name, but hey, comment below if you feel like this resonated with you and like the video, because it helps more people see this content, helps more people change their life. And with mountain biking, you can not just change your riding, but you can change your life if you let it. So yeah, you're one of us if this resonates with you. And, again, we reject, it's the bike. We're going to go get new bikes this week. That's what's going to solve all our problems. Yeah, probably not. If you believe that, hey, the root issue is the athlete, and if you believe that being a great athlete is the way to go, come join us. We're here. And also, I highly recommend, if this resonated with you, click on the link I put below. It's the 3 shifts to shred with confidence. I made it new for 2024. It shows you exactly what steps to take if you want to not just get coaching, but also how to go about transforming your life and your riding through this concept of mobility. Love it. Thank you guys for watching today. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.